The AV-8B VSTOL strike aircraft was designed to replace the AV-8A and the A-4M light attack aircraft. The Marine Corps' requirement for a VSTOL light attack force has been well documented. Combining tactical mobility, responsiveness, reduced operating cost, and basing flexibility, both afloat and ashore, VSTOL aircraft are particularly well suited to the special combat and expeditionary requirements of the Marine Corps. Later upgrades added a night attack capability and radar, resulting in the AV-8B and AV-8B Harrier II Plus versions, respectively. During the initial pilot conversion course, it became apparent that the AV-8B exhibited flight characteristics different from the AV-8A. These differences, as well as the digital cockpit fitted instead of the analog cockpit of the TAV-8A, necessitated additional pilot training. The AV-8B Harrier II is a subsonic attack aircraft of metal and composite construction that retains the basic layout of the Hawker Siddeley Harrier. As well as the digital cockpit fitted instead of the analog cockpit of the TAV-8A, necessitated additional pilot training. The AV-8B Harrier II is a subsonic attack aircraft of metal and composite construction that retains the basic layout of the Hawker Siddeley Harrier, with horizontal stabilizers and shoulder-mounted wings featuring. The aircraft is powered by a single Rolls-Royce Pegasus turbofan engine, which has 2 intakes and 4 synchronized vectorable nozzles close to its turbine. 2 of these nozzles are located near the forward, cold end of the engine, and 2 are near the rear, hot end of the engine. This arrangement contrasts with most fixed-wing aircraft, which have engine nozzles only at the rear. The Harrier II also has smaller valve-controlled nozzles in the nose, tail, and wingtips to provide control. The AV-8B is equipped with 1 centerline fuselage and 6 wing hardpoints, along with 2 fuselage stations for a 25mm GAU-12 cannon and ammunition pack. These hardpoints give it the ability to carry a total of 9,200 pounds, 4,200 kilograms of weapons, including air-to-air, air-to-surface, and anti-ship missiles, as well as unguided and guided bombs. The aircraft's internal fuel capacity is 7,500 pounds, 3,400 kilograms. Fuel capacity can be carried in hardpoint-compatible external drop tanks, which give the aircraft a maximum ferry range of 2,100 miles, 3,300 kilometers, and a combat radius of 300 miles, 556 kilometers. The AV-8B can also receive additional fuel via aerial refueling using the probe and drogue system. The British Aerospace Harrier II, a variant tailored to the RAV, uses different avionics and has 1 additional missile pylon on each wing. The Harrier II retains the tandem landing gear layout of the first-generation Harriers, although each outrigger landing gear leg was moved from the wingtip to mid-span for a tighter turning radius when taxiing. The engine intakes are larger than those of the first-generation Harrier and have a revised inlet. On the underside of the fuselage, McDonnell Douglas added lift improvement devices, which capture the reflected engine exhaust when close to the ground, giving the equivalent of up to 1,200 pounds 544 kilograms of extra lift. The technological advances incorporated into the Harrier II, compared with the original Harrier, significantly reduced the workload on a pilot. The supercritical wing, hands-on throttle, and stick control principle, and increased engineered lateral stability make the aircraft fundamentally easier to fly. The AV-8B looks a lot like the original Harrier, and it uses the same operating fundamentals. It just uses them a lot better. For the AV-8B, McDonnell Douglas redesigned the entire airframe of the Harrier, incorporating numerous structural and aerodynamic changes. To improve visibility and better accommodate the crew and avionics hardware, McDonnell Douglas elevated the cockpit by 10.5 in 27 centimeters and redesigned the canopy. This improved the forward 17 down, side 60, and rear visibility. The front fuselage is composed of a molded skin with an epoxy-based core, sandwiched between two carbon fiber sheets. To compensate for the changes in the front fuselage, the rear fuselage was extended by 18 and 46 centimeters, and the taller vertical stabilizer of the Sea Harrier was used. The tail assembly is made up of composites to reduce weight. The Harrier II was the first combat aircraft to extensively employ carbon fiber composite materials, exploiting their light weight and high strength. They are used in the wings, rudder, flaps, nose, forward fuselage, and tail. 26% of the aircraft structure is made of composites, reducing its weight by 480 pounds, 217 kilograms, compared to a conventional metal structure. Most of the first AV-8B Harrier IIs were upgraded to Night Attack Harrier or Harrier II Plus standards, with the remainder being withdrawn from service. The AV-8B cockpit was also used for the early trialing of direct voice input, which allows the pilot to use voice commands to issue instructions to the aircraft, using a system developed by Smiths Industries. The main attack avionics system in original aircraft was the nose-mounted Hughes and ASB-19 angle rate bombing system. The system combined a TV imager and laser tracker to provide a highly accurate targeting capability. Defensive equipment includes several AN ALE-39 chaff flare dispensers, and an ALR-67 radar warning receiver, and an AN ALQ-126C jammer pod. The trainer version of the AV-8B is the TAV-8B, seating two pilots in tandem. Among other changes, the forward fuselage features a 3 feet 11 in 1.19 meters extension to accommodate the second cockpit. To compensate for the slight loss of directional stability, the vertical stabilizer's area was enlarged through increases in chord length of the stabilizer's root and height. USMC TAV-8Bs feature the AV-8B's digital cockpit and new systems, but have only 2 hardpoints and are not combat capable. Initial TAV-8Bs were powered by a 21,450 AW, 95.4 kN F400 and 2R R406A engine, 23,000 AW 105.8 kN F402 RR48A. 17 TAV-8Bs were upgraded to include a night attack capability, the F402 RR408 engine, and software and structural changes. The Night Attack Harrier was the first upgrade of the AV-8B. It differed from the original aircraft in having a forward-looking infrared camera added to the top of the nose cone, a wide Smiths Industries head-up display, provisions for night vision goggles, and a Honeywell digital moving map system. The FLIR uses thermal imaging to identify objects by their heat signatures. The variant was powered by the F402 RR408 engine, which featured an electronic control system and was more powerful and reliable. USMC TAV-8Bs feature the AV-8B's digital cockpit and new systems. In the air-to-surface role, the APG-65 radar provides high-resolution, long-range surface mapping and detection, and tracking of land-based and sea-based targets. The radar has the capability to locate small, fast patrol boats in high sea states and to detect large naval ships at long range. AV-8B aircraft are being fitted with the Northrop Grumman Lightning U targeting and reconnaissance pod. Lightning U consists of a CCD TV camera for video reconnaissance and FLIR and laser spot tracker rangefinder for targeting. The avionics suite of the Harrier II Plus is very similar to that of the U.S. Marine Corps' Night Attack AV-8B and is equipped with a forward-looking infrared FLIR sensor night vision goggles, NVG, and an NVG-compatible cockpit. The image from the FLIR is projected on the wide field of view, head-up display, or on one of the multi-purpose head-down displays.